What's up YouTube, Playmatter here, and today I'm bringing you a video all about side deck cards for Nekroz. Obviously these cards won't necessarily work in your deck, so you have to really identify which ones will work alongside your own deck. But there are so many options, and it's easy to see how fragile Nekroz are as a deck. They're a very, very, very powerful deck, but they have huge weaknesses and huge gaps in their defenses. So there's so many cards that can take advantage of that. I'm here to tell you which ones I think are best, and tell you the ones that I think are really good in specific decks. Starting with Apocalypse Towers. It's really, really, really difficult to get over this. The next card is Lancia. It's okay. You can only use it in your opponent's turn, so it's not that great in OTK decks, because you can't drop it in your own turn to stop them from valking you. The next card is DD Crow. DD Crow is quite good, I think. It's chainable to banish one card in their graveyard. They've got a lot of cards that use their graveyard, so as soon as they activate Nekroz Cycle, you can banish anything like a Trishula or whatever you're scared of them summoning from the grave. The next card is actually Denko. The deck's starting to side in all sorts of things. Vanity's Emptiness, Royal Decree, Shared Rides, Forbidden Lances, all sorts of side deck. Book of Eclipses, Book of Moons, MST, all sorts of things that could get affected and could completely lose them the game if you summon Denko into them. Okay, so the next card is Effect Veiler. Effect Veiler stops you from getting Trish. It stops you, if they have a bad hand and they need that Manju or Senju to resolve, which is quite often actually the case, and they summon that Manju and you Effect Veiler it, sometimes that can just outright win you the game. As I'm going through this video, there really is a whole format right now of who can come up with the best main decked tech. And this is all potential tech, so it's really a matter of picking which one of these, or which couple of these are you going to main deck to try and beat the Nekroz matches that you're guaranteed to go up against at the big events this year. So the next one I want to talk about is Kaiku. Kaiku is really good. Summon him, and OTK for game basically is how he works. He stops them from being able to Valk, and even just in the slow games when you've got some floodgates down and things like that, and any floodgate, this and a Vanity's Emptiness pretty much wins you the game because they can't actually do anything. The next card is Majesty's Fiend. Majesty's Fiend is really good. There are 6 cards in the deck that are an out to this. There's 2 Book of Eclipse, 1 Book of Moon, Dark Holes, and Regeki. Maybe a 3rd Book of Eclipse. Those are the main real outs to Majesty's Fiend. So if you have Majesty's Fiend and a Forbidden Lance, they can't even attack over you. So yeah, they really, really struggle to get over Majesty's Fiend, especially with any form of protection, whether it's Lance or anything like that. We have Maxi. People are main decking this, people are side decking this all over the place. I think it's good. Then we have Side Blocker. People have been main decking this, side decking this, hyping the hell out of this, and I think it's okay. Most of the time people are like, okay, summon this, call Valk, and then attack the game. But Kaiku's got 600 more attack points and can banish 2 cards from their graveyard, so I think Kaiku's so much better. You can, however, normal summon it and call Vanity's Emptiness if Emptiness is on the field and you want to negate it. So that's quite good. But also, I think MST is better at handling Vanities. So I don't know. I'm really not on the side blocker hype train, to be honest. I think Kaiku's just better in any deck, really. We have Puppet Plant. Almost every monster that they leave on the field is a warrior or a spellcaster. You can also steal that monster to sacrifice for a Spell Canceller. Spell Canceller is one of my favourite cards against the deck. I think it is absolutely brilliant. Anyone who can afford to play Spell Canceller, so I not Clifford or Nekroz, you should be playing Spell Canceller against this deck, because there's just so little outs to the Spell Canceller in the deck or anyone's side. Then we've got Thunder King Rio. Obviously the deck searches a lot, so it's not so good because the deck very rarely would need to overlay before attacking over a Thunder King, so they could make Unicorn attack over it and then use the overlay with Manju if they really wanted to. But it does stop them from searching, which is really good. Again, you're just going to want to find ways to defend it so they can't attack over it. And then we've got Vanity's Fiend. Vanity's Fiend is good. It's a very strong monster and they can't special summon, so that again they need the books or the Dark Holes or something to stop it from being face up on the field. So again, you know, if you have a lance to stop it from being affected by spells, then Vanity Fiend will be absolutely fine. It's just another one of those kind of, sometimes it's a one card win cards. Even just like the Digital Lock can be a one card win card. So then we've got this kind of combo of Emergency Teleport, Recover, and Naturia Beast. So any deck at all that can make Naturia Beast, but Clifford's would be siding Italy and Recover. Any deck that can make a Naturia Beast can absolutely annihilate Nekroz, because they need to have the perfect cards in their hand to get over a Naturia Beast on its own, never mind if you have any protection for it. Then we've got Book of Eclipse, but that's good against them if you are a heavy special summon deck, because you want to flip their stuff face down and then, you know, attack over it. Because if they make a Digital Lock, for example, it also stops them from attacking for game. You know, in the worst case scenario. But no, I think Book of Eclipse is really good and a really versatile card. Then we've got Creature Swap. One of the strategies that you could take against Nekroz is to take their monsters away from them. So if they don't have them in their hand and they don't have them in their graveyard, then they cannot use them, or on their field. So, you know, if you overlay with them, if you use a 101 to absorb one of them and attach it as a material, then that's one less resource they have, because all their stuff is a resource in the grave. Is one of those things, and they constantly have boss monsters on the field as well, especially if it's not a mirror match. You know, you can just always just take their boss monsters or take their level 4s to make your own rank 4. And yeah, no, I do like Creature Swap for that side of things. Then we've got Dark Hole again. They like to make big fields. They establish board quite well. As a deck, that, you know, they can summon 3 things at once and attack you with all 3, and if you survive that and you Dark Hold them, then you can really win the game from there, because they've overextended into the field and hoping that they can push for game. Dimensional Fissure, any card that banishes stuff is good against this deck, because they really like using their resources in the grave, which is what one of the things that makes the deck so good. So if you take out the monsters in the deck that would be going to graveyard and just banish them straight away, then yeah, they really do struggle. Then there's the ever popular Enemy Controller. Again, you can attack them for game, you can tribute their monster. It's one of those cards, like for example in Burning Abyss, where if you're going to plus from tributing your monster and taking control of theirs, then you can. It's definitely a good option. We've got Forbidden Chalice. You know, it's a multifunctional card. And it can work in conjunction with Mind Drain. If you side Mind Drain, then you can't really side Veiler against them. So then you have Chalice. So Chalice would do all the things that the Veiler would do, but it can also do loads of stuff in the damage deck, which I really like. Forbidden Lance, same reason, but it just makes your monsters survive any of their spell and traps that they might use. For example, Dark Hole, Book of Eclipse, to keep any of your lockdown monsters face up, and then also it allows you to attack over or survive attacks from their boss monsters. So yeah, no, I think Lance is really good in deck. Then we've got Level Limit Area B. Change all level 4 or higher monsters to defense position. But this is basically just saying you can't attack with any of your boss monsters. All you can do is attack them with rank 4s until you get rid of level limit area B. Like, nobody's playing this card, and I really like it against the Nekroz deck. They really have to have their Twisters or MSTs to get rid of this. And then if you've got things like Vanity's Emptiness or Mistake or Anti-Spell Fragrance, then they're really going to struggle to get rid of this. It's one of those cards that works really well in conjunction with other floodgates, and the more floodgates you've got, the better. But yeah, Level Limit Area B is just another floodgate that people aren't really thinking of, that definitely does really affect the deck. Then we've got Mirror of the Ice Barrier. There's lots of people that only really fear Trishula in the deck, and if they're going to banish 3 cards you control, you can banish 6 cards they have. So that's like 2 cards in the hand, 2 cards in the field, and 2 cards from their graveyard. So as soon as they make Trish, then they pretty much lose if you activate this, to be honest. It is a 1 card win. Obviously it's not searchable, so you really do have to have it at the right time. Then we've got Prohibition. Prohibition, I actually prefer this to Sideblocker. It's another floodgate, it's another spell, it's another thing they can't attack over to just kind of stop the annoyance of. They have to MST this. But yeah, I personally think calling Unicorn with it's really good, because they do use Unicorns. They summon Unicorns, and they use Unicorns to recycle the cards in their grave, like Bryonak and Valkyrius. You know, so it's that's one of the cards they try and use the most in the deck, probably. Obviously, if you play Mind Crush, then you can see what's in their hand and just Prohibition the thing that is going to stop them from being able to do anything. You know, so you can't play Yu-Gi-Oh! is what Prohibition does. We've got Regeki for their established boards. We've got Shared Ride. Shared Ride, you know, it's a maxi that you have to set specifically for searching. You can +2 off it if they use the Preparation of Rites. But yeah, it just stops them from doing all the crazy stuff in their 10 that they would be doing. I've also seen Soul Absorption sided. We've got Deck Lockdown. This is a, you know, popular side deck card choice in the Dragon Ruler format. We've got Soul Release. Soul Release can correct your own graveyard to, let's say, make room for Dark-Armed Dragon, but also, if you banish things, this banishes any 5 cards from either player's graveyard, and you can banish their spells so they can't recycle their spells. You can banish their monsters so they can't use them for Nekroz Mirror. The final card for the spells is the Monarch Stormforth. Yeah, I mean, we pretty much all know what that's for. It's for, you know, getting the Spell Canceller, the Vanity Fiend, the Majesty's Fiend out as well. And then for the traps, traps are probably the best cards against Nekroz, which is why Nekroz are main decking or side decking copies of Royal Decree, because if you stop the traps, you're usually okay. So we have Anti-Spell Fragrance. They have to set their spells the turn before playing them. It slows them down a turn, which is actually really, really huge. It also allows you to then destroy their face down cards. You can summon Denko Sekka so that they are fully locked, so they can't set new cards and they can't activate any of their currently set cards. You know, this and Denko Sekka is huge against them. So yeah, that just disables all of the spells and traps in that whole deck. Then we've got Bottomless Trap Hole. Any time that you banish one of their boss monsters, they're pretty upset because they really didn't want to lose that monster. Yeah, they never expect to. And against things like Kaleido Mirror, where they summon a Valkyrius and a Unicorn, it's absolutely enormous. They've just gone -2. Then there's things like Breakthrough Skill. So yeah, it's the same as Chalice, really. If you're using cards like Mind Drain, which stop you from being able to use hand traps like Veiler, then Breakthrough Skill is a really good choice. You can use it 6 times if you side in 3 copies, for example. And it's really good, obviously, because you can use it in your own turn to disable their Unicorns if you want to overlay and use your ranked monsters effects. We have Curseal's Forbidden Spell. Probably want to use them on like Preparation of Rites because of how huge prep can be. Dimensional Prison. They win the game by attacking, and when you banish their monsters, you know, it's pretty huge. Eradicator Epidemic Virus. Yeah, if you destroy every card, every spell card that they draw for the next 3 turns, including the ones in their hand, if you manage to resolve an Eradicator Epidemic Virus, you've probably won the game. Then we have Imperial Iron Wall. They can't trish you. They can't banish to activate Valkyrius' effect. They can't banish their spells to recycle their spells. They can't banish anything from their grave for Nekroz Mirror. You know, it's a really good card. Macrocosmos, fantastic card, banishes all the stuff, takes away their resources really quickly throughout the game. And then you've got Mask of Restrict. Cards can't be tributed, so that means they can't ritual summon ever, which is also really big. Mind Crush is really good. You can often net a +1 out of this because you chain it to Kaleido Mirror and you call Unicorn and you hit the Unicorn, and the Kaleido Mirror would often resolve without effect because or they'd be forced to summon something like their own Bryanak, or they'd be forced to summon Trishula and a Clausulus. So yeah, no, it's, you know, Mind Crush is really good for that in particular. Mind Drain, absolutely enormous card against the deck. They can't, every single one of their blue cards they use by discarding it to activate their effects. So Mirror Force, they have no protection in their whole deck that stops them from getting Mirror Force, really. They have to MST you or Denko you. Then we've got Mistake. Mistake is a fantastic card against them as well. Neither player can search at all. So yeah, it's a Thunder King that they can't destroy by battle. There are so many of their cards that are only really good because they search. So like Shrit, for example, and just tributing in general. The ritual monsters, if you can search from the things that you tribute for the ritual summon, and search for things like Herald when you summon with Kaleido Mirror, it's what makes the deck keep its advantage. And as soon as you take away their ability to maintain any form of advantage, then you take away their ability to win the game. And then we have the final two, Skill Drain and Vanity Emptiness. Obviously we know how good these two cards are when you main deck them in things like Yangzing or Cliffort. You know, absolutely huge in Cliffort because it just gives you the biggest battle monsters. That they have one card that can beat over the top of. You know, two if they play Decisive Armor as well. So they've got, you know, 3 Valkyrius and 1 Decisive Armor to attack over any of your 2/8 beat sticks, and then as soon as you have a scout, you can just search for the Eclipse spells to make them be unable to be destroyed by battle, and they pretty much can't win the game from there. I'm sure there are even more cards that you could side or main deck tech against Nekroz this format. Feel free to leave comments below to talk about all of the things that you like to side against the deck. These are just some of the options, and definitely the ones that are my favourite options against the deck. Obviously it really does depend on what deck you play as to whether you can side any of these cards. Thank you very much for watching, guys. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, please do subscribe and like this video to show your support. And that's it from me today. Till next time, guys, Playmatter signing out.